back at the picnic table. One of the picnic tables down by Oasis Diner. It's about, I don't know, what time are we working with here? 12:45. And Tuesday the 12th. This is, well, yesterday was the first day that restaurants around here started opening for like half capacity or whatever they're doing. Which there's too much going on yesterday. I didn't make it down here for coffee. But came down today and sat inside in our booth, where unless there's already someone sitting in it, whenever me and the fam, normally the kids, come down, or not all of them typically, but one or two at a time, will come down and talk and chat. So many fucking hundreds and hundreds of hours of conversations, solving of the world's problems, and starting a few more poems have been written, and all kinds of stuff in that booth, and others. But anyway, one thing I forgot to say last night when I was doing my little After Diary was when we were in Fountain Square after doing the gravestone thing and whatever, and over at Clay's, I just wanted to go on a walk. They were, everyone was playing card games, which was, good for them. Never been much of a card games guy. I mean, there's certain card games I don't mind playing, or actually enjoy sometimes. Like, I like playing Rummy, and I like playing King's Corner, and Face 10 and stuff like that. But I'm not a real big like card game dude. Just not so much my thing. So, but anyway, I especially wasn't in the mood to play cards yesterday. But I was glad everybody else was. I was glad they were having a good time. But, I was sitting on the porch and I was just like, well, I want to walk down into Fountain Square, which is about a half mile from, Fountain Square proper is about a half mile from our brother's place. And I just told, everybody inside, I was like, I'm going to walk around in the, main square part and come back. Stretch my legs. I've been trying during this whole pandemic thing, which I've got to be outside every day. That's just me. But particularly since I haven't been biking as much, I've been trying to get 3 walks every day of something like 2 miles per. A couple of folks I don't know just walking on the trail, just waving. And how are you doing? Doing good today? It's a nice day for a walk. Thank you. You too. And nice fellow there. Young fellow with his dad. But anyway, so Charity wanted to go on a walk with me. And we were just talking about this and that, and just talking about anything, And she's 16 and a half now. And I found myself, we were sitting at standing rather at a crosswalk, and we were getting ready to walk across. She asked me a question, and whatever the question was, it was something about, like how things are with the pandemic stuff. And I made some kind of a joke, and I remember, and it hit me right as I did it, because I the other day I was thinking, it's like, when will that first like really full laugh come, or that really full smile come, or whatever, where at least in that moment maybe you forget about the circumstances, and so we were sitting there at the crosswalk, and I just made just a joke and whatever it was, and made myself smile, and it was like a full smile, you know, and then it immediately hit me, and it was like, that's number one. You know, that was number one, full smile after, and I was glad that Charity was there with me. And I didn't say anything about that or anything. You know, it was just in my mind, and then uh, we went back, and the night went on. But I didn't want to forget about that. So today, at about 11:30, I woke up about 8 and just basically just laid there and just listened to some stories, watched some, just, you know, just laying there in bed being fucking useless basically, but not putting any pressure on myself to be anything but that for a couple of hours. Waited till Angie woke up and snuggled for a bit and got up, and then started walking down here, and with the intention of writing this poem about this red bird that I saw yesterday, the dead one in specific. So I was going to write that poem. I wrote myself a couple notes on it, you know, on my phone so I wouldn't forget. Well, then when I got down here and was walking in, there was some, I can't remember which, it was some Little Richard song on right when I walked in. I was thinking, I was like, well, that's, you know, kind of serendipitous, you know, my first time back in the diner, and Little Richard also passed away last week. And so I was thinking, you know, that was an appropriate song to hear walking in the diner. Uh, uh, so I was sitting down, you know, getting ready to write, got my coffee, and wasn't sure if I was going to get anything to eat or not. And told the waitress, you know, she's like, do you want anything? And I said, you know, come back in a few, and I should know by then. But I was the only one in the diner, and I was sitting back in our booth and looking at this long, you know, front. You know, took a little picture of that, and then she came back, you know, several minutes passing. She said, you know, cheerfully, have you thought about anything? And I was just kind of like, you know, it was like coming out of a haze. And I said that I'm guilty of over-promising and under-delivering because I hadn't made any decisions yet, which she just, you know, chuckled, walked off, said she'd come back again, topped off my coffee, and kept it hot the whole time. I ended up just not wanting anything other than coffee. And so I started writing a different poem. I started just writing something that I hadn't already thought of. And then I got a text from a buddy of mine who we've not been friends for a real long time, maybe, I don't know, a year or something like that, year and a half. He's an older fellow, which so many of my friends tend to be a chunk older than me, but he's necking. But we hit it off right away when another friend of ours, Pablo, introduced us because he thought we'd be good friends. Both kind of contrarian literary sorts and outdoorsman types and music lovers and all that. Well, anyway, I had thought about him multiple times, but we have not seen each other this year, and he just lives over that way. Probably something like Murder Hornets. Uh, I don't know. Maybe 4 really good baseball throws I could hit his house from here. Not that I'd do that, because he's my friend. But he's close. Well, I even thought about him just Sunday when I was walking down here, you know, because I'm close to his place, and hoping that he's doing well, and, you know, because he's, I think, in his mid-60s or early 60s or something like that. But, you know, so he's closer to the COVID-19 danger zone than I am, statistically speaking. And Pretty bird singing over there. But anyway, so I I was sitting there in the middle of writing this poem, and then he wrote me, which apparently he hasn't, through the grapevine of things, heard anything about Nathaniel. Just kind of a hey, I haven't talked to you in a while, and hope you're doing well, and in this crazy world, that things are fine with him. So I didn't write him back right away until I had finished his poem. But the thing was, as I was sitting there, I was thinking about him, and I was like, God damn it, it's like, I mean, he had met Nathaniel, he knew him when he'd seen him at Metro, and they just casually like sat at the same table. He and Caleb and Nathaniel, we they sat there kind of listening to like me and Pablo and Nick, bullshitting and going on, like I used to, when I was young, sitting there listening to my dad and my grandpa talking to their buddies over coffee, and got some Bluetooth tunes coming through here. It's like another father and son on bikes this time instead of riding Shanks ponies. But anyway, right at that moment, different songs are playing. They don't have a jukebox here; they just have music playing, which is mostly 50s and 60s, and some newer songs. But and I was just sitting there, and I was thinking about Nathaniel, and I just in my mind, it's like you're whispering to the ghosts of your loved one, and I said, well, Than, I said, at least you went out in good company, because little Richard always loved his music when I was a little kid. And I remember once my dad got this videotape way back, like in the 80s, and my dad loved 50s music, and I love 50s music, and we'd ride around. I remember he had his old like Ford Custom mint green pickup, 70s model Ranger, something like that, but it was like a full-size Ranger. And we used to ride around in that, going here and there, and he'd listen to the 50 station, and and then in his little Ford Ranger that was like an 84 or 5, we'd sit there in his pickup truck, and sometimes like he'd have his hand on the shifter and I put my hand on his hand, and we'd shift, and you'd hear these different things. But on this old videotape, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I watched that. It had Little Richard on it, it had Richie Valens, it had Buddy Holly and the Crickets, as I recall. It had fucking Cochran, what was his name? Eddie Cochran, um, and others, but Little Richard was on there playing Long Tall Sally, and that was one of my, well, that was and is my all-time not only favorite Little Richard song, but my favorite rock and roll song is Long Tall Sally. So I'm sitting there thinking of Than, and I just in my mind say something to the effect of, baby boy, you left in good company, good traveling company. At least you'll have good music to listen to. And I shit you not, within 10 seconds, 15 seconds of that, Long Tall Sally comes on. And then after that, Roy Orbison, which was my dad's favorite, Only the Lonely comes on. So that was cool. And then, but yeah, today is been a different kind of day. It was sunny earlier, now it's gray. It's supposed to be sunny again after a while. Probably mow the lawn. Need to fill out some paperwork. And for the cremation situation out there in the western part of our great country. One of the hardest things, now this isn't anything that rivals the grieving, but it's kind of riding the coattails of that. One thing that I really enjoy, uh, I would say every much as bit as a good cup of coffee, refill to go, uh, not as much as fucking. Somewhere in that brackish middle ground of enjoyment in life, uh, smoking cigarettes. But I'm not really trying to contribute too hard to my early demise. On the other hand, I'm trying to play the middle because sure as hell don't want to end up being 95 laying in a hospital bed dying of nothing. So I smoke, excuse me, between 0 and 3 cigarettes a day. I don't smoke every day. I also smoke pipes. Not as much. Cigar, once or twice a week maybe, smoke a pipe or a cigar, which I've been smoking pipes and cigars since I was 14. Grandpa, he smoked 2 cigars a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. People tell him, oh, God damn it, Red, you need to give up those cigars, they're going to kill you. Well, he lived to 87. Cigars didn't have shit to do with him dying. So I'm glad he enjoyed his cigars, because they brought him a lot of enjoyment. And they were part of who he was. And his big cigars tucked in his front pocket. He always had his cigars, he had his little click pen, he had his reading glasses in a little glasses case in his front chest pocket. And Dad smoked cigars too, but he actually gave them up, I think, maybe around his early 40s, because he always had sinus problems. So he had a good reason to give them up. But Dad, on the other hand, he would, about every day, he loved coffee. And he loved having little, like uh, things like coffee cake or a little slice of pie or things like that. He was active, other than the cancer that took him out, unfortunately, in an untimely way at 60 years old. He was otherwise in pretty damn good shape. I mean, he was active. He ran a loader. He could get out there and dig ditches with a spade better than most fucking 18-year-olds, probably damn near about every 18-year-old on the goddamn planet. And people tell him, oh, Joe, oh, that sugar, better give up those desserts, every day, you know. And then he died of some kind of cancer that didn't have jack shit to do with sugar and pie and cookies. And then I was glad that he enjoyed his pies. Well, I don't know what's going to end up taking my ass out. But for all I know about health and physiology and anatomy and immune system function and cancer and all that other shit, with all the healthy shit that I do, I don't think something like 0 to 3 cigarettes a day is going to do too much. But we're all playing the fucking lotto here. And we all lose. So I enjoy my cigarettes. And I mean, I enjoy my cigarettes. But part of the reason that I can enjoy them is because for me, only smoking 3, I enjoy every single one of them. If I smoked a pack a day, they wouldn't be as special. And again, I don't smoke 3 every day. I don't even smoke 1 every day. But most days I smoke 2. Recently I've been smoking 3, and it's been goddamn hard not to ramp that up. Hard not to ramp that up. And you got to plan your day out. So I like plan, but this is intentional. This isn't accident. Almost every fucking thing that I do is intentional. Now, accidental shit happens, but what I do has a great amount of intention to it. Even if I'm being intentionally spontaneous. But I'm a big fan of moderation. I think some folks do their shit way too reckless. But I think the vast majority of cats out there, they play their shit way too safe. Way too safe. But I try to surf that little wave of chaos best I can. Best I can. But it's been hard not to start smoking more cigarettes. And I got a plan, like, well, I'm gonna walk, like I want to smoke one right now. I had one on the way down here. And then it's like, goddamn, I'd like to smoke another one. But then I'm like, well, if I smoke one now and it's not even 1 o'clock yet, or now it's just after 1:04, then I'm going to have the whole day, because I probably won't go to bed till midnight. I'm going to have that whole 11 hours. And I'm only going to have one left. And I may want to smoke one Caleb. I may want to smoke one with my wife, or both, or I may want to. So I got to leave one for the middle afternoon, early evening, and I got to leave one for later. But it's taken a lot of discipline to not go over my 3. But I'm not. It's just hard. And that's part of that commitment that I made with my wife. Just a fraction of time after we found out that Nathanael was dead, was that I promised I'm not going to lose my shit. I'm not going to fall off the edge of the world. I'm not going to fucking crumble. So 3 cigarettes it is, Joe Camel. Anyway, maybe catch up later. We'll see how it goes. I made it till afternoon without starting to cry again today. Not that it's a contest with myself, it just worked out that way. And I wasn't even thinking so much about Nathanael at that moment. I was walking down here and I was thinking about the other kids. And that made me tear up. But anyway, we're still going, folks.